Shalom, shalom. Call Aloyim Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Racha Kodash and Shoni Kabad Gadawala Requab the Kwanyim Nawa Washalayakim Nawa. That is double honors to our elders and our apostles of Greater Millstone. And Shalom Babarak Yom Labakayim Shayasharala. And that is peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. And as always, to the confusion of faces, meaning those who look like the other nations, but whose spirits resonate with the truth, and that believe in that faith in Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shah, the only begotten Son. To all of you out there, no matter how you look, pushing His word, I want to say peace and blessings to you all. So you can see the title, and of course I have a few articles right now, but before I get into them, I want to just go through a few scriptures because I know myself, and I will get carried away in these articles, so let me read these scriptures first and foremost. Matthew 24, verse 29, it says, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be taken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven," which is Yahweh Shai. "And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." All right, let's also get Isaiah 13. And at this point, there's no need to break down these scriptures. Brothers should already know what they mean. Isaiah 13, verse 9 says, "Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and He shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible." Okay, so they're just flowing right now, whatever's coming to mind, per the topic that you see of this video. Ecclesiastes 12, start at the top, verse 1. "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders," meaning the workers, "and the grinders cease, because they are few. And those that look out of the windows be darkened. And the door shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." All right. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring out these scriptures first and foremost, like I mentioned, is because sometimes I'll get carried away and I'll just read a whole bunch of articles and then hit the scriptures at the very end of the video. But I notice, that's just not the proper way of going about this. We do these videos first and foremost, and only, let me say, for edification. So we got to read the scriptures, you know what I mean? So with that being said, now let's jump into the topic at hand, all right? This article is by kitco.com, and it's entitled, "Economic Crisis is Coming. U.S. Shutdown is a Distraction. Gold will benefit." Of course it won't. "Gold will benefit Peter Schiff." And if you don't know Peter Schiff, it'll get into it, but he's a billionaire hedge fund owner, founder and owner. All right, now with that being said, we have a lot of things going on. Ever since that super blood wolf moon, then now you have the Israelites on CNN, articles being written about us by the Washington Post. You have people that are acting, being paid through the Spirit. We know that. And then all of a sudden, what? You also have this government shutdown, which actually ended today. So they say. Today's January 25th, 2019, the year of the Karagma. And Donald Trump came out today and so-called ended this government shutdown. But just like all these fake things happening around, I'm going to say surrounded around prophecy, because we understand that you will have all these false allegations, people posing themselves to be brothers and getting paid off by the so-called white man. Salaki. In the midst of all that, you also have this government shutdown, which I believe was also staged. This government shutdown was a distraction, just like Peter Schiff slightly mentions in this article. So I want to read that really quickly. And I have 3 articles. I'm not going to read all of them. However, they all relate. All right. So this says, economic collapse is coming and gold will trade over $5,000, maintained one CEO of a leading provider of alternative investment strategies. Analysts see an economic crisis approach from miles away. Euro-Pacific capital. Well, let me read that again. Analysts see an economic crisis approach from miles away. Euro-Pacific Capital CEO Peter Schiff told Kitco's Daniela Cambone. He said, nobody can come out and say we are headed for an economic crisis and that crisis hits tomorrow. You see trends that are building. You see a problem forming well in advance, Schiff said. Signs that something bad is on the horizon have been here for some time, Schiff clarified. We are doing a lot of things that are very bad and that are making us very sick, and we will succumb to a disease. It doesn't mean it is going to happen tomorrow, but what has happened in a real world doesn't contradict anything that I've been saying. All of the problems that I have diagnosed have just gotten worse, he said. One of the most talked about issues of the new year is the partial U.S. government shutdown, which Schiff described as a distraction. Now, once again, keep in mind, the scriptures say what? The children of this world are wiser than the children of light, meaning the so-called white man, the Edomites. That's why they call themselves the illuminated ones. Whether they call themselves that or whether that name has been given to them, either way, the Rothschilds, the elite banking family, the Edomites, the so-called white men, they are the illuminated ones, meaning they bear the light. They have the knowledge of what's going on in this world. Why? Because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Of course they bear the light. Of course they bear the light because they own the entire world right now. So with that being said, when people like this guy, this devil right here, Peter Schiff, a billionaire hedge fund manager, comes out and says things like this, it's only right of you to take heed and to listen. And he believes this government shutdown was actually just some kind of a distraction, distracting you toward the bigger problem at hand, which is this economic crisis. Okay, he goes on to say, it is a lot of political theater that ends up costing taxpayers more money, he said. It's the Democrats and the Republicans posturing against one another in advance of the 2020 election and deciding who is going to get the blame. It's a distraction. The blame of what? This economic collapse that's coming. It's a distraction. It deflects people's attention from what they should really be worried about. Now, he goes on in this article to just talk about how gold is going up, it's going higher, blah, 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 which is true. I trade Forex and I just made some money today off of gold. So at the end of the day, the things he's saying is right. And that's proof right there. Gold is going up. However, we understand that the new currency that the so-called white man wants to make mandatory across the entire world, not just Babylon the Great, not just America, the entire world, that will be the microchip, in which the microchip is the mark of the beast. Gold isn't going to be the in currency, the so-called quote-unquote in currency. It's going to be that microchip. All right, now I'm going to end the article right there because this article now is going to lead us into the next article, which is this right here. It says, this is from RT News. This was written January 23rd, so 2 days ago. It says, FBI runs out of money for drugs and informants. Shutdown triggered, report warns. So even though the government shutdown has ended today, January 25th, we're going to see the effects of this government shutdown and what the FBI came out in a report and said. Now check this out. The FBI agents are ringing alarm bells over being unable to afford drug bust operations, pay for the informants, and even phone cards and paper amid the longest U.S. government shutdown in history. Okay, at that point, it was day 33. As federal agents brace themselves for another month without a paycheck, their longtime confidants are quitting because, unlike federal staff, they don't work for free, the report says. Issued by advocacy group, the FBI Agents Association, FBIAA, it cites dozens of anonymous accounts from the agency's personnel across the country. Not being able to pay informants risks losing them and the information they provide forever. It is not a switch that we can turn on and off, says one official. The report claims that the units investigating MS-13 street gang have been left helpless with their Spanish-speaking sources, as they can't afford to hire interpreters. The drug task forces allegedly keep putting off the narcotics bus as they are running out of funds to pay for undercover heroin and meth purchases. Budget shortages also mean lack of staples such as copy paper and car parts. Now peep this. The FBI needs money to, quote, stop terrorist attacks and, quote, arrest bad guys, pleaded the president of the advocacy group, Thomas O'Connor. So first you have Peter Schiff, this billionaire hedge fund manager, saying that this government shutdown is just a distraction. And of course, he's really gearing towards the money side in terms of saying this government shutdown is a distraction towards all the debt that America has accumulated. And because of that debt and what we've seen specifically Q4 of 2018, rising interest rates, now we're going to have some kind of or experience a financial crisis that's going to lead to an economic collapse. But then also you have this article from RT saying that these FBI agents are coming out and saying not only are they quitting or were they quitting their jobs because they weren't getting paid, but because of that and on top of that, they weren't getting, on top of the government shutdown, they weren't receiving money in order to stop terrorist attacks and arrest bad guys, quote unquote, bad guys, whoever that may be, so they say. Now, who's been a long-term, let me not say long-term, let me just say this. Who is the biggest so-called enemy or rival to America right now? Of course, it's Russia. And who do you have that sides with Russia? You have Russia, China, and Iran. The big three that are prophesied in the Bible to actually destroy America by nuclear bombs. Now, keep in mind this article, how the FBI came out and said that they need to stop terrorist attacks and arrest bad guys. Because now we're going to go to this next article. You see, with this government shutdown, what I'm getting at is basically Esau can come out and basically stage some kind of, it can either be a false flag attack, some kind of false flag in which Esau does it himself on America, or it can actually happen from Russia or China or Iran or North Korea. Who knows? Now, what I'm talking about is this EMP attack. This article was written January 24th. It says, new EMP warning. U.S. will cease to exist. New EMP warning. U.S. will cease to exist. 90% of population will die. All right, this was written January 24th, yesterday, all right, the year of the Charagma. It says, at a time when the military is starting to take the potential for an attack on the national electric grid more seriously, a newly declassified report is warning of an electronic world. A newly declassified report is warning of an electronic world war launched by Russia, Iran, North Korea, and China that could wipe out North Korea, that could wipe out North America, Europe, and Israel. I had to slow down because I noticed I've been moving fast. Sometimes certain videos, certain topics surrounding prophecy get me excited and I read real fast. But I wanted to slow down and take my time with this article right here because look, it's very serious. A newly declassified report is warning of an electronic world war launched by Russia, Iran, North Korea, and China, all allies, all enemies to Babylon the Great, which is North America, that could wipe out North America, Europe, and Israel. It goes on to say, with ease and using a primitive nuclear weapon, a new axis of those aggressive nations could black out the Western world. Now you see why I read all those scriptures in the beginning. Those aggressive nations could black out the Western world, dismantle all electricity and electronics and water and food supply, and lead to millions of deaths in America. 9 of 10 Americans are dead from starvation, disease, and societal collapse. The United States of America ceases to exist, warned the report declassified by recently decommissioned U.S. Commission to assess the threat to the United States from electromagnetic pulse attack. That's the EMP bomb. Now, once again, because of this government shutdown, something like this could happen any day. Whether it's actually from Russia or China or Iran, or what I believe is going to happen, possibly this year, is the U.S. stages some kind of false flag terrorist attack themselves, in which they actually drop an EMP on America and take out the grid, all electricity, everything, all power, no more laptops, no more phones, no more communications, no nothing. And then they can blame it on another country, talking about a cyber attack on the United States of America. They can blame that on somebody else when they did it, and they can say, oh, it happened because of this government shutdown. You see? This is all Satan's devices right here. Let's read a little bit more, and then that's it. I'm going to close out. It says a report written by EMP expert Peter Vincent Pry revealed EMP war plans drawn up by Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, and even ISIS, but we know what ISIS is, in nuclear EMP attack scenarios and combined armed cyber warfare. Pry said that the Russians have called EMP a revolution in military affairs. He explained it this way to the Washington Examiner. This new warfare uses cyber viruses. You see? This new warfare uses cyber viruses, hacking, physical attacks, non-nuclear EMP weapons, and a nuclear EMP attack against electric grids and critical infrastructures. It renders modern armies, navies, and air forces obsolete. It paves the way for asymmetric warfare by small nations and terrorists. Now, check this out. Price said that the U.S. is an easy target because virtually everything, military and civilian, relies on computers, and even the Pentagon uses the civilian internet. Ours is the most technologically advanced society, and therefore the most susceptible to attack. So there you have it. Once again, what I truly believe is this government shutdown was just some kind of I'm going to say a stage. It was planned at the end of the day. It was planned all for Esau being able to stage some kind of a false flag attack on regarding cybersecurity, and then them being able to drop an EMP on America and then blaming it on another country. Because Esau has to create some kind of order out of chaos, in which he's going to create the chaos. He's going to bring the problem and then bring the solution. And that solution is going to be the microchip. Okay? And I'm not saying this is exactly how everything is going to play out. I'm just saying, hey, this is one thing that could happen. I believe it actually will happen. That's just me personally speaking as a man. and I'm just judging the times, reading different articles, things like that. I do my best to stay privy to economic news, global news, and things like that, especially because, like I mentioned, I play the foreign exchange market. So these things are just interesting to me. But through the Spirit, then I believe something like this could happen, and I believe it could happen, this year. So, of course, just stay on alert, keep reading, keep watching, keep praying, and keep bringing out prophecy. That's what we've been commanded to do. Keep watching and doing the work. All right. I pray that this was edifying to the elect out there. And you can check out these articles yourself, So new EMP warning right here. U.S. will cease to exist. 90% of the population will die. The other one right before it. It says FBI runs out of money for drugs and informants. Shutdown triggered report warns. And then this one as well. Let me see. Let me scroll down. There we go. Economic crisis is coming. U.S. shutdown is a distraction. Gold would benefit. That was by Peter Schiff. So, call Halal Yim Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rachakudash, and double honors to our elders and our apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.